Past Reason Hated by Peter Robinson. Read by Simon Slater. Chapter 1, Part 1. Snow fell on Swainsdale for the first time that year, a few days before Christmas. Out in the dale, among the more remote farms and hamlets, the locals would be cursing. A heavy snowfall could mean lost sheep and blocked roads. In past years, some places had been cut off for as long as 5 weeks. But in Eastvale, most of those crossing the market square on the evening of the 22nd of December felt a surge of joy as the fat flakes drifted down, glistening in the gaslight as they fell, to form a lumpy white carpet over the cobblestones. Detective Constable Susan Gay paused on her way back to the station from Joplin's newsagents. Outside the Norman church stood a tall Christmas tree, a gift from the Norwegian town with which Eastvale was twinned. The lights winked on and off, and its tapered branches bent under the weight of half an inch of snow. In front of the tree, a group of children in red choir gowns stood singing Once in Royal David's City. Their alto voices, fragile but clear, seemed especially fitting on such a beautiful winter's evening. Susan tilted her head back and let the snowflakes melt on her eyelids. 2 weeks ago, she would not have allowed herself to do something so spontaneous and frivolous. But now that she was Detective Constable Gay, she could afford to relax a little. She had finished with courses and exams, at least until she tried for sergeant. Now there would be no more arguing with David Craig over who made the coffee. There would be no more walking the beat either, and no more traffic duty on market day. The music followed her as she headed back to the station. And he leads the children on to the place where he is gone. Directly in front of her, the new blue lamp hung like a shop sign over the doorway of the Tudor-fronted police station. In an attempt to change the public image of the force, tarnished by race riots, sex scandals, and accusations of high-level corruption, the government had looked to the past, more specifically to the 50s. The lamp was straight out of Dixon Dock Green. Susan had never actually seen the programme, but she understood the basic idea. The image of the kindly old copper on the beat had caused many a laugh around Eastvale Regional Headquarters. Would that life was so simple, they all said. Her second day on the job, and all was well. She pushed open the door and headed for the stairs. Upstairs, the inner sanctum of the CID. She had envied them all for so long, Gristhorpe, Banks, Richmond, even Hatchley, when she had brought messages, or stood by taking notes while they interrogated female suspects. No longer. She was one of them now. And she was about to show them that a woman could do the job every bit as well as a man, if not better. She didn't have her own office. Only Banks and Gristhorpe were allowed such luxuries. The hut she shared with Richmond would have to do. It looked over the car park out the back, not the market square, but at least she had a desk, rickety though it was, and a filing cabinet of her own. She had inherited them from Sergeant Hatchley, now exiled to the coast, and the first thing she had had to do was rip down the nude pin-ups from the cork bulletin board above his desk. How anybody could work with those bloated mammaries hanging over them was beyond her. About 40 minutes later, after she had poured herself a cup of coffee to keep her awake while she studied the latest regional crime reports, the phone rang. It was Sergeant Rowe calling from the front desk. "Someone just phoned in to report a murder," he said. Susan felt the adrenaline flow. She grasped the receiver tighter. "Where?" "Oakwood Mews, you know, those tattered-up bijou terraces at the back of King Street." "I know them. Any details?" "Not much. It was her neighbour who called. Said the woman next door went rushing into the street screaming. She took her in, but couldn't get much sense out of her except that her friend had been murdered." "Did the neighbour take a look for herself?" "No, she said she thought she'd better call us right away." "Can you send P.C. Tolliver down there?" Susan asked. "Tell him to check out the scene without touching anything, and tell him to stay by the door and not let anyone in."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?